In this video, I want to talk about my loadouts and perk choices. As someone who's had to sort of level them up within Warzone, I haven't got Black Ops 6, though I have played it for a few free trials they've handed out. That's probably a good time if you're like me, you want to level up some guns, go and play zombies or some of the multiplayer. But if you haven't done that, you're only left with the weapons in the game. I thought I would go over basically my loadouts, my perks, and things that I've decided to do when I haven't got everything at my disposal. And you kind of have to sort of select still what you want to work on, right? Because it still takes some time, takes quite a lot of games. Plunder and doing supply runs, as I found out from J-God's recommendation, that definitely does help, and that's something I've been doing solo. You probably want to queue into a squad, but whether you want to run off with a squad in Plunder, some people I've noticed take Plunder seriously, but I've also encountered, even in the few games I've played, a lot of solo players in Plunder. So if you just want to get some levels, I honestly just go and play that. It's so much easier. At least on EU it is anyway. Anyway, so I've got quite a few here I'm going to go through. I'm going to try and break down why and how I've built them. Briefly, none of this is meta. This is not going to be like a meta video. This is just like a recreational, what I enjoy as a PC user. I have tried some of these, like my 8-slot AK build is definitely not a controller weapon. I've tried it myself in the firing range on controller. It's not, maybe close quarters, but it's just no, it's not usable. So it's definitely a PC build I've come up with there. But anyway, without further ado, I just thought we'll go over this. The top one is currently what I'm trying to level up with, which is like the AMAX and HDR. You can see it's 14 and 19 on this. This is pretty standard. You know, I've only got what I've got: an extended mag, vertical foregrip, brain twist, and I really like this KNS sight. I haven't seen many people using it. I picked up an AK as floor loot when Verdansk first dropped, and it had this sight on it, and I did really well with it. So since then, I've quite enjoyed it. I don't think it's the same magnification as a normal red dot. I think it's just a little bit in, but this might take a little bit of time to get. Wait, this is my AK. This might take a little bit of time to unlock. The standard AMAX is okay. I don't know if it's a battle pass gun, I think. Yeah, so I have to actually put. Can I get the end guy? I think I can if I'm standing. Yeah, it's a bit of work, but very little recoil. This is what a lot of controller people are using right now. If I go back, I'll go over the perks. The perks are all relatively similar for these, but it's veteran, cold-blooded, and tempered. I had a really hard time before I selected particularly veteran, and they've just done a patch which has seemingly helped. There's some sort of flinch and feedback that your character gets that they've kind of turned down a lot. That's a big help to mouse and keyboard. But traditionally, smoke and frag. Smokes just help. I think I put smokes on everything, so I'm not really going to go over that again. But smokes on everything and frag grenades pretty much. I wish frag grenades were a bit better. They don't seem to throw as far. They don't seem to explode, and they don't seem to do as much damage as I would like. I know there's, I think, a perk that can increase that, but obviously you don't want to run it, ideally. Well, I don't anyway. So I've had a few times when I've thrown a frag grenade at someone and it hasn't done what I wanted it to do, and it's a bit disappointing, but I don't know. I haven't really tried recently. That was just at the beginning of Verdansk, at least. But with veterans, been a big help. You get extra breath, you get flinch, and I would really recommend this. You have to unlock this in your armory, which if you don't know where the armory is, and you're like me, and you don't know where that is, you have to come over here to barracks, come down to challenges, and an armory is in the top right, and in here, you've basically got, at the top here says Black Ops 6 or Legacy. You've got like these unique attachments, guns, perks, whatever you can unlock. I think you can only do one at a time. I think the default is those like Cali sticks or something. Something random. But anyway, you want to come in here and make sure you want to pick what you want, and veteran is in here. So it takes a little bit, it takes a few games, maybe like a few games of plunder, you'll probably unlock it basically. Nothing too big deal, but that's huge for me. For my playstyle on mouse and keyboard, that's been a huge help. Cold-blooded, so it's either kind of cold-blooded or tracker. I've tried tracker because that's kind of the first one you start with, but I think even now I think tracker is probably the meta and what I'd recommend, but so many people are running it, and I only really play solos, and that's how a lot of my kit is all built, is around solos. So I've been running cold-blooded, which is what I used to always run. Traditionally, I'd always have a cold-blooded cold-blooded setup, probably with like something like high alert, right? But I've come to sort of terms of now going on in terms of now pretty much in all my kits you'll see tempered. And tempered is arguably probably one of the meta perks right now, just purely because if you've got a satchel that can carry 8 plates, this is giving you 2.5 times or 2.5 heals rather than 1.6 heals. Which if getting that extra life is a huge deal in a game like this, particularly in solos. And not to mention, it's just quicker in combat and everything. So I think tempered is definitely a meta at the minute. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I see enough people using it, so I think I'm kind of similar with that. The other one on the kind of choose is Ghost, but we'll go into that. So my HDR is pretty much everyone's HDR, right? Everyone's looks the same. How do we show it? What is it? Long barrel, lightweight pod, quick draw, heavy stock, and overpressured. Yeah, I mean that's my loud one, and then I've got a suppressed one, which is, I think, removing. Where do we do this? We go click on this HDR, and then that's in here. And I've got a suppressed one, which I don't know what that's missing. It's the overpressured. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. So that's kind of what I've changed that for. So one of them, that's basically the rifle I'd use on my Ghost if I had overkill with a Ghost setup. So that kind of goes on to, if I was to skip over the AK-74 briefly, that goes on to the Kilo, which I've got as a suppressed setup. I did originally have this running Ghost, and it's probably still better running Ghost, but as I said, solos with the plate situation it's such a big deal to have that extra life, particularly even if you've only got a few plates. If you could be fully plated on 2, I found that so much more useful. But my Kilo here, I used it a bit. It's good. Particularly definitely one of the best controller guns, but not many people use it. But I would say it's got like no recoil. So if you want to beam someone at a good range, even with a nice sight on it, like a 3-times sight would probably do quite well for a controller setup with this. You don't really need the suppressor. I only recently put the monolithic suppressor because that's a battle pass thing, so everyone can get that. It's free. I haven't bought the battle pass, right? The same thing with the AMAX. I think it's free. You don't have to buy it. You just have to play the game. But yeah, pretty standard. Extended mag, FMJ. FMJ was because I was trying to shoot a lot of people in cars or in the vehicles, and it's not so easy without it. It's still hard even with it, but I've had better success shooting people in vehicles if with the FMJ attached. Yeah, it's pretty much, if you can get the pixel, it's pretty much pixel perfect. The only downside to it is even like, it's like a 9-shot kill. And then when you get to this guy at 50, it's like a 12. Yeah, it's like a 12 to like 13, which isn't... at that range, it's not really good at long range, and that's where the AMAX is really kind of why people are going with the AMAX. I think at that range, you have to get more damage on, and it just makes the whole thing hard. So I can quickly show this is my suppressed sniper. Same deal, right? You've all seen the HDR. You've all seen the HDR. This might have a little bit more bullet drop because of the suppressor. That's about the only difference this has really got. It's got a little bit more bullet drop. Yeah, so that's a headshot, whereas on my other one, I wouldn't have to aim so high. But the 74 is the most interesting. Definitely, obviously, the meta. I tried running it for a very long time without the extended mag, and to be honest, if you can do that, then good for you. But with PC, it's so crucial that you need to hit your shots. And so something I've tried recently is running quartermaster and experimental gas. I still need to play around with that. Ideally, I'd like that to work. I've had some okay success last time I tried it, but this was kind of a relatively new build. And this is a pretty standard AK, right? This is a pretty sweet AK. If you just want to get a normal 5-slot AK, this will pretty much do it. You can obviously change and do whatever on control that might make it easier. But for me, this on PC, this has been really nice to use, and I played around a lot with this. And this is what it will load in automatically. But I would probably do a lot better in the game if I just use this and nothing else. But I kind of like So like now I'm like working on the AMAX and an LMG, right? So I haven't really used this. I can't be the only one that does that though. Like you get a good gun build and then you stop using it because it's kind of boring because it's too easy. So you change. But yeah, this is another overkill, right? Just with the non-suppressed HDR. Yeah, it's pretty just what it is. And so that was kind of my main build was with this, which is why I've got 2 8-slot builds, which I'll go into from this. So this is running Quartermaster Tempered Veteran, right? My 8-slot AK, which I've put with the Modern Warfare Deagle, which is actually quite nice still, somehow. Not sure, out of all the Modern Warfare guns that are terrible, that one's still actually half okay. But this is actually quite different. So this is definitely out of everything. I don't think any of these are controller builds, but this is definitely not a controller build. This is fun. It takes some time to get used to. If you're used to something like the barrel, even, or like an AKM out of like another battle royale, then this is kind of on par with that, to be honest, which is what I quite liked about it. And if you get, it's got a damage multiplier for the barrel, but I think that's kind of copium, to be honest with you. Or it might have a headshot multiplier. But yeah, this is pretty much same deal. Like this. Yeah, it's a little bit more Larry, but it's still pretty even. But the 8-slot AK, you can just send the 8-slot AK. It doesn't really matter. Just pick what you like. I'm not sure it's still like the best at the minute, but it's still good. Yeah, it's still pretty solid. I'm not gonna go for the guy at the back. Yeah, it's a bit harsh for the AK going at that range. I'd use a sniper, right? It's 100 meters up. And then the HDR is similar, where everyone's pretty much got the same HDR build. I'm working on getting an optic for it I'd like, but I think it's copium. I need to work on the SVD. Yeah, this one, I believe. Yeah, this one, SVD at level 20, Redwell custom zoom. I don't know if that's any good. Most people that have unlocked it probably say no, it's terrible. But anyway, I'd like to try that on it. But other than that, this is pretty much a standard overpressure laser because it actually helps with accuracy, heavy stock, quick draw. I mean, this is level 20, so there's maybe more stuff to unlock for it, but I'm not even going to show that. Do I show it? It's basically it's just a HDR. You've seen that one. It's the same video. So the more interesting one is like the Fang. I picked up the Fang on the floor. Everyone's sleeping on this. It's okay as a controller gun. I think it's a bit more Larry as a controller AR or LMG. I'd say it's a long-range AR, but whatever, because it shoots 5.56, but it hits really hard, so I don't know why they've given it that damage. So this is just kind of a random sort of solo build I came up with, because really this is kind of all you need, even in close quarters. This is a build that's similar to a floor loot build, I believe. They've got a different scope on it on the floor loot, though, which I haven't got. But yeah, compensates a long barrel, front grip, extended mag. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But this thing is really powerful, and I haven't seen many people using it. I have tried a red dot version, but it's not as good. I think you definitely need a scope on this, just because of how slow it is. People have been wanting something like the Odin from like the original like Warzone. This is probably the closest thing we've currently got. It's still a bit quicker. And the Odin was good. Oh, I actually need to concentrate a little bit. It has got a lot of recoil. So again, if you're used to the other recoil of like other games, you'll be fine. You'll be fine with this. You just need to be aware it's actually going to kick. If I don't hold any recoil, this is what it will do. It's pretty standard, to be honest. I thought it would be worse than that. But yeah, this actually kills in 6 shots, which is kind of insane. Right, so 6, and it should do... Yeah, so this has got insane DPS. People are really sleeping on this. I hate for this thing to get nerfed. I've been using this a lot, even in like solos and even like sort of casual, where I might come across like a squad of 4 people. It's oh, yeah, a bit. I haven't actually grabbed this yet, but if you need a good floor loot gun, this is definitely... They've definitely got some good Fang builds on the floor. I'm just using this rocket launcher. I'm yet to actually really get any kills with any of these. I haven't really memed around. Yeah, this one you need to lock on. I haven't really memed around with those, but I'm sure there's better launches you could use. I used to really like the what is it? What is it? The bloody Strela, I think, in Modern Warfare. That was a lot of fun, but I think that's not as powerful, and it's got a lot of drop-offs. I don't know, whatever. The Vicar, right? This is kind of named after the Daisy weapon. I don't actually know what the real weapon's called. They've called it the KSV in this. I'm sure neither company will be best pleased about that, but whatever, it is what it is. So this is kind of all three of these Vicar builds I've got here. It's a very good gun, really, really good fun. The problem is I don't think it suits Verdansk, and I used to play a lot of Resurgence. I haven't played Resurgence, but I've kind of done these three as kind of like, well, if I was to play Resurgence, this is what I'd do. So we've gone Survivor, Quick Fix, Tempered, I believe on all of them, and that's mainly because this thing is basically a hipfire / one-handed weapon that's really, really good. So I had the idea that if you put in a plate and you get caught, you want something that can still work, right? There's no point having an AK-74 that's going to miss half of its shots. So it was just mainly Resurgence builds. We've got my HDR with this one and Overkill, and we've got the Feng build I just showed with this one. Both of those SMGs are the same. And then this is an 8-slot Vicar build, which is basically the same thing but a bit better. So let's show the 5-slot here. And again, I actually think this is a meta build for this thing, to be honest, because this was copied off of a ground loot gun. And then I think since people are starting to pick up that this is actually a really good weapon, I've had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, front foregrip, extended mag, you can unlock all these within like the first few levels, I think. And it's good to go. So really, really easy. The problem is it is an SMG, right? It hasn't got that mid-range. So the problem with that is basically if you come in, it can't really be the best thing for a sniper, which is why why I put it with the Feng there, because I think that's kind of its best setup. If you don't want to run a sniper, this is kind of probably one of the best for PC at least, because this KSV you can hip fire if it came to it. And then this other thing is good, but to be honest, the Feng is still pretty good in close range. So let's actually try. I'll showcase this. This other one, this original Vicar build with the HDR and the Feng, it's not as good. You still gotta want to aim with this, but you notice I've got the red dot on it. If I don't move, it's very good, but obviously in most situations you're moving. But I still built this to be, obviously most hipfire engagements you're gonna be, and to shoot the ground or whatever like that. That's kind of why I built this. As I said, this is a Resurgence weapon really that I haven't played yet. I used to play a lot of Resurgence. I know what it's like, right? I've been there, done that. So I will play again maybe, but yeah, wanted to run this maybe as a good like end zone loot crate. I was gonna say loadout to grab from like the loot crate or whatever you get, right? It's probably a good one if you haven't necessarily got like a long range, or maybe it ends in prison or something, right? And somewhere that's going to be like close quarters, or it ends in downtown. Maybe you want something like the Fang and something like this, and you don't necessarily want to snipe because you're going to be indoors. But these two, I'm yet to actually give this loadout a good go. And obviously the HDR setup's pretty much the same, right? It's just it's my loud HDR and the thing. And then this one, I'll show the other slots later. It's basically the same deal. I think it's got a different, it's just more slots, and I think it's got the compensator. I think it's got probably different bullets. Yeah, same thing. It's the same thing basically. I didn't want to put a sight on it because I didn't think it needed it. What has it got? FMJ. It's got a stock and a compensator on it. Yeah, I think that's about the only difference. So that's fine. And this is I might as well show. This is actually nice if you've got this. I got this on the battle pass from like 3 years ago. This Deagle setup. That's actually pretty good. It kills in like 3 or 4 shots, so not actually bad out of all the one more weapons. And then this last LMG, I've got 2 LMGs here that I'm working on. They're both kind of mid compared to the Fang, but they're all right. This setup, this GPMG7. This is pretty good. It's so. I think it did have 4 slots on it for a while. I just put the laser on it. I actually fried a bit with plunder recently in that one. And same with the SVD. I don't know if they buffed it, but I've been doing a better time with the SVD. Again, this was kind of like a squad setup when I'm running solo, right? So I'm running solo, maybe going to go up against anywhere from 2 to 4 people. Kind of need something that could do the job. So that was kind of it. Does work. It's actually been pretty good. And then this is just an LMG setup that maybe I'd grab if I'm against solo, similar to the Fang, right? I mean, this will probably not get used, but I'll show both of those. So this is the other LMG. What is it? It's like called a PU21 is what it's called. And again, this is all pretty much basic. What is it? Level 10. I'm trying to level these up, but I would argue these are definitely the better PC guns in the game. If you can use them and just level them a bit, these will probably do quite well because you've obviously got plenty of ammo and they hit pretty hard and they're easy to control, thankfully, and they don't sway around or anything. Which you would think they would, but they don't. So let's try both of these, and then that's pretty much it. The AMAX, as I say, is kind of what I'm working on now, and I've been using this particular loadout a lot as well. Yeah, this has got. Yeah, I don't think it is a controller gun. It's definitely got a lot of recoil, I think, for a controller. Oh. If you can manage it, though, it's an absolute beamer. Let this load up, and then I would like a bigger mag. I'm trying to get the belt fed. Trying to get the belt fed unlock in the armory. I think that's what we'll work on next. So this 2 shots, if you hit the head, I kind of get it. The follow-up feels better than it used to feel, to be honest, before the patch. So I haven't experimented with this. I have had a few kills like yesterday with this. If you hit just the plate, it's like a 4 shot. Which I feel is kind of harsh still, but I get it. It's just because it's a problem. Like, why hit someone 4 times when you just use HDR and hit them once? I kind of wanted this to at least be a 1 shot within this range, but I do appreciate that would probably be broken with a semi-auto though. So I tried this with a suppressor. It's a lot harder to use, to be honest. The recoil, the recentering is almost too leery with a suppressor on it, but I might have been using the wrong one. Oh. He's out of breath. That. Yeah, there we go. Should have got that. But I've only really been using this. So say you've cracked him, you know, you just tap him, or you've cracked someone, they've run behind cover, you can still see through it or whatever, and you can just get that final quick follow-up shot. So the SVD does have its own place. It's just kind of working with it. I think definitely with an LMG is its best situation. I think I wouldn't be running, because snipers is kind of like it's sniper support, right? I wouldn't almost be saying this is a sniper support. I'd almost say that the SVD is the support for the LMG, like almost the other way around. But I don't know if that's what the devs intended. Anyway, the last one, which was this one, pretty much same thing, right? These two pretty much handle. These pretty much handle all the same. But again, you can get about 4 or 5 kills in a mag, which is pretty good. So if you needed to take out a squad, this is definitely some of the few guns that are capable of actually doing that. Cool, thank you very much. If this helps you, leave a like, help other people. I just wanted to go over, basically, I said my loadouts that I've come up with. I've spent a long time on these and playing around, but obviously my playstyle is not going to be the same as everyone else's. The perks are pretty much the same. I would definitely say consider if you don't consider the tempered. It's just because of the less plate situation, but as I say, if I was going to run Ghost, it would be on this like Kilo. I've really thought about it, but I think really having the less plates is very detrimental. But yeah, each to their own. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.